Hey, did you know there's a specialized fertilizer that can root any cutting much more quickly than usual? Even the most difficult cuttings at least 5 times faster. Just take a look at how beautiful this rooting of cuttings is, because today you're going to learn the trick that even experienced gardeners still don't know. A trick that makes any cutting root easily, using a fertilizer stimulus that you probably already have at home. Just look at the amount of roots we have from the Bougainvillea spring. These are branches, cuttings that have been rooted. A few of these cuttings may still fail to survive even after developing roots, but the vast majority of the plants do root successfully. More, it is at least 5 times easier and faster for you to root any cutting you have right in your home. Just look at how healthy these roots are. This is so good that it works with pomegranate cuttings and it also works with basil cuttings. Rooting works for any type of plant, ornamentals, cypress, thuja. It also works with mulberries, mulberry trees, and of course, as you've already seen, bougainvillea, which is a plant that's quite difficult to root. In other words, any type of cutting you have at home and want to root, this formula I'm going to share with you today will solve that problem. Now tell me, who among those who grow plants and have tried to root a plant has had a cutting that just didn't take, dried out, didn't develop roots, didn't produce new leaves, it just dried up and they lost the cutting? Sometimes someone only has a single cutting they got from someone else, from a plant they really wanted, and when they try to root it, they lose it. But this happens because the plant doesn't have the right nutrients for rooting, or sometimes it even lacks the necessary hydration until it takes root. All the main problems will be solved with the technique and the products I'm going to show you today here on the nPlantus channel, so pay close attention until the end of the video to every step, every technique, and all the products we'll be using here today. The first thing we're going to do is choose the plant we want to propagate. This is a bougainvillea, also known as primavera. I love this plant and I'll take more cuttings. I've picked the plant and now the branch. Look at this long branch. Just look at the size of this branch. And then we have the option to cut the branch right at the tip here, or we could also cut it at the bottom. But we're not going to choose either of those options, because for rooting branches, what's best is not a branch that's too young or too old. The ideal is a branch of medium age, which in the case of bougainvillea is a branch that is neither that light green nor that woody brown. I've already chosen mine. I'm going to cut this branch here and show you which branch I picked to use. Look, here we have a branch with a lighter green, see? And there's this branch that's in its middle stage of life. This is the branch we're going to use for rooting. Just look at the size of this branch we've chosen. It needs to be healthy. And the plant also needs to be healthy and free of any signs of pests. With this, we have a much greater chance that these branches will root quickly and with minimal risk of loss. This way you won't be wasting your time trying to root a stubborn branch that just won't root. Now we're going to start carefully preparing our cuttings. Whenever we handle these branches for rooting, we should always use clean, properly sterilized tools, okay? And for rooting the branches, the ideal is a branch about the length of a handspan. So we're going to cut here, not straight across, okay? We always cut like this, look, at a diagonal. I've already measured one, a handspan, so now I can cut approximately here, see, and we'll basically have cuttings of the same size. A lot of times people ask me what the ideal thickness is for a cutting to root successfully. And I always like to use healthy cuttings that are just about as thick as a standard ink pen or a common school pencil. When it gets really thin like this, see, when you get to the tips of the branches, which are usually greener and thinner, those branches don't root very well. The loss rate is very high, so I can discard the tip of this branch here because I'm going to work with branches like this. Look, these are the branches I'm going to work with, and be very careful not to lose track of which end is the tip and which is the base of the branch. The part that goes into the soil is the base of the branch. If we put this top part in, the success rate also drops a lot. I'm also going to remove these initial leaves from the stem now. This branch doesn't need these leaves at the beginning because that will increase dehydration. The branch will dehydrate faster, so we're going to remove these first leaves. I can leave 1, 2, even 3 leaves here, that's fine, but any more than that isn't necessary, especially because once this branch takes root, it will produce new, healthier leaves that won't dehydrate. So look at how it's going to look. See? We remove these lower leaves and leave just 1, 2, or 3 leaves at the top so the branch understands it's alive and can carry out photosynthesis. You need to pay close attention from now on because the most important techniques are coming up and they're what make a difference in rooting. Pay close attention. For each little branch, we're going to do this. Look, a little initial cleaning. We're going to remove this green part. We're basically going to peel this branch. You don't need to peel too much. You don't need to be aggressive with the branch. We're just going to clear this lower part of the branch, the part that goes into the soil. We'll do a little cleaning, always using a very clean tool, you see? And this is how your little branch will look. You're going to remove a small piece about the width of a finger, see? That's what you're going to take off your branch. For all the branches you're going to root, you'll do this here. While I am doing this on the other remaining branches, I would really love for you to comment down below if this is the kind of video you enjoy watching here on our channel. Also, let me know if you usually do the same little cleaning process that we are doing here when you root your own branches, and especially if you have already been successful in rooting the branches you try at home. All 5 of our branches are now ready for planting, and so now we are going to prepare the container that will receive these branches. And that's why many times people aren't able to replicate the tips from our channel. Sometimes people think that just this technique is enough to root a branch, but now comes the preparation of the container, which is equally important for the branch to take root. And there are also other things that we are going to use in the rooting process to achieve a much higher success rate. You can be sure, absolutely sure, that you will get the seedling you are trying to root, but you need to apply everything we're showing here so you don't make mistakes later. The container I'm going to use for planting is an 11-pot container, which means it has an 11-centimeter opening. It's not big, it's small, but it has a lot of holes. And the soil for planting that I'm going to use is a soil that I prepared myself here, but it needs to be a high-quality, light soil that can retain water, but also has the ability to drain water. Whenever you water, the water needs to go down through the substrate and come out through the little holes. This is the ideal soil for rooting cuttings. This planting soil is dry, but now we're going to lightly moisten all of it to improve the friction with the cuttings we're going to plant. It's already started to drain down here, and now we're going to put our cuttings in for rooting. Look, the part that we cleaned, we're going to put it completely into the soil, and we're going to place all these cuttings in this same container. There's no need for another container. As they start to root, we'll transfer them to larger containers, especially since this is a plant that grows quite large. But here, we're just going to root them. They'll only spend a short period of time in this environment. There we go. Now we give it a gentle press, and then we'll finish watering just until the excess water starts to drain out through the holes at the bottom. Look! It needs to be thoroughly watered now, and we'll let all this water drain out. Only the substrate will stay moist, only the planting soil will remain damp, and our cuttings will be nice and firm. One of the main things for rooting the cuttings is that we're going to add root fertilizer, which will actually stimulate quick and effective rooting of these cuttings we've planted and of the cuttings you'll plant at home. Now, my friend, pay close attention, because this product, which costs less than 20 Rs, is extremely concentrated. With just 1 capful, you can make a liter of fertilizer for your roots, flowers, for rooting your cuttings, and it costs less than 20 Rs. It's already available in our store, but pay close attention to how you prepare it, because it's extremely concentrated here. A small bottle like this yields 20 liters of this product. We're now going to prepare about 500 milliliters of it so we can do the rooting. Alright, so let's open up this product here. I'm going to use a syringe for this, because to make a full 500 milliliters, I'll only need exactly 2.5 milliliters of this specific product. So we're going to collect 2.5 milliliters of this product here. Look, I drew too much, so we're going to put some back down to 2.5 milliliters to make 500 milliliters of this rooting solution. It's also very good for flowering plants, but here our focus is on roots. So I'm going to add it to 500 milliliters of clean water and stir so our solution becomes well mixed. Here we have all the macronutrients. There's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But because of the exceptionally high concentration of phosphorus in this fertilizer, our rooting will be a guaranteed success. The overall health of our plant's roots will be a guaranteed success. And now that our product is already mixed, you're going to come over to your cuttings and simply give them a light watering with this product. We're going to add at most 100 milliliters here. You don't need very much. We're just going to do a single watering with this product right here so that this wealth of phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen reaches all of our planting soil, so that the cuttings in contact with the soil can also absorb it and be stimulated to root very well. Now we're going to use a little plastic bag. Oh, Wenny, but what is this bag for? It's to ensure the hydration of our cuttings. We are giving our cutting the perfect conditions for nutrition and environment, and now we are going to provide the perfect moisture conditions for our cutting. First, find a plastic bag that is just a little bit larger than your planting pot, Wunko. We are then going to carefully place our pot right inside that bag. Very gently, we are going to pull the sides of this bag upward because this simple bag will help us create a perfect mini greenhouse environment. This improvised greenhouse is essential so that our delicate plant cuttings never dry out or suffer from a lack of moisture and hydration. The conditions we're creating are perfect. I know you're really dying to discover what product I used here, right? I'm going to reveal exactly what the product is, what the fertilizer is, and where you can find it. But I really need you to watch this video until the very end because you'll miss something important if you skip it. Something that will actually make all the difference for perfect rooting to happen. We made a small twist here at the tip of the bag. It needs to be completely and tightly sealed, okay? And now we're going to tie a firm knot so that no air escapes from our little greenhouse no matter what. It needs to be securely sealed up, so it works exactly the way we want it to. So let's tie a good tight knot here to prevent any air from escaping. And so I can finally reveal to you the specialized rooting fertilizer formula that most people don't tell you about. Take a look at how our greenhouse will look. Nice and sealed, retaining all the moisture and ensuring the essential nutrients your plant requires to develop roots are kept inside. And the product we're using for rooting is NPK 4-14-8 in liquid form, folks. Don't worry, the link will be right on my profile, in the bio link and also in the video description. You'll easily find this product on our website. What I really want is for you not to focus only on the product, but also on all the different factors that influence the good rooting of your cuttings. By doing it this way, we can achieve an absolutely incredible success rate in rooting. Our little bag also needs to be kept in a controlled environment. It can't be a place with direct sunlight, nor can it be a dark environment in total darkness. It needs to be in a well-lit place without direct sunlight, so it can do this here. Look, this greenhouse process. See how there's a lot of humidity inside the little greenhouses we've already made? That's exactly how your little greenhouse needs to be. So for that, never direct sunlight, always a well-lit environment. You do not even need to open it up to water the plants. When you finally open this, 60 or 90 days will have already passed by, and you will notice that there is still moisture inside. This is how your seedlings will look after you take them out of that bag, that greenhouse. Never take them straight into full sun. Once you move them outdoors, slowly and carefully acclimate your plants to the direct sunlight. They're used to a perfect environment. When you take them out of the greenhouse and expose them to real conditions, they might struggle a bit until they adapt. So the most crucial thing to remember is that they already have roots. But now, to keep the leaves healthy looking and to continue good root development, you should reapply fertilizer with NPK 4-14-8. And even more importantly, steadily increase the amount of sunlight your plant receives. Start in partial shade, then gradually increase by 1 or 2 hours of sunlight per day until it becomes hardened and truly ready to receive full sun. My mission, as you already know, is to bring you effective tips that have been tested and proven in practice in a straightforward and free way, so you can immediately put them into action and truly see results with your plants. Now, your mission is to help me. Leave your rating here in the comments from 0 to 10 for today's content. I really want to know your honest opinion. And to make sure you don't miss the next lessons, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell because that's the only way you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Share this content with someone who is passionate about plants because this knowledge can transform a lot of people's gardens. Oh, and all the items I used in this video are already available at the link below in the description. I strongly recommend that you watch this next video here on the screen, which I prepared especially for you to keep learning how to take better care of your plants. I'll stop here for now. A big kiss to your heart and see you in the next video. I'm out!